Hello and welcome to the Blue Room live blog. This is a live forum where 25 Perth theatre artists have been invited to share their view on live arts and theatre in Perth. Tonight's blogger is Dawn Albinger.
Thank you, Ariel. Good evening and welcome. I'd like to start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we've gathered here today and their ancestor spirits and your ancestor spirits, and anything that's brought you here to this evening to the Blue Room. And if you're tuning in via YouTube, anything that's brought you to this moment, hooking up with us now. I'm not expecting everyone to know me because this has been a forum for Perth theatre artists, a place where they can give voice to their concerns and their ideas about the Perth theatre scene. And I'm actually a blow-in. I'm from over east. I'm a Brisbane girl. I've been in and out of Brisbane, mostly, not Brisbane, I'm from Brisbane, in and out of Perth for the last 18 months. And I've been really excited by the initiative of the live blog because it means that I've got to meet a whole host of Perth artists that I perhaps wouldn't have otherwise. And it's been really great to hear people talk about the different things that they find challenging and exciting and the different ways that people are meeting those challenges, because what it has shown me is that artists from around the country are pretty much experiencing similar things. Perth does have some unique challenges, the tyranny of distance being one of them, and I'll talk about an initiative to counteract that shortly. I've been excited by a lot of the creativity and the energy that people are talking about to meet the challenges and the initiatives that have come up, and I'd like to share in the discussion around survival strategies a couple of my own survival strategies before I talk about the initiative which Therese mentioned last night, Magdalena Perth. So one strategy is the reason I'm in Perth. It is study, it's postgraduate research. I'm doing a practice-led PhD in contemporary performance through WAPA, and that has given me the opportunity not only to come to Perth, but to support me for 3 years to deepen my inquiry into my own practice, to write a really long essay about it, and to make a new solo performance. So it's been really great for me, and I don't think that it lessens the quality of research generally to admit that it can be a survival strategy for independent artists. And in fact, I think that those of us who make theatre do a lot of research when we do that, and particularly if we're making original theatre, I think what we do is a form of research, which is what I argue and why I'm doing a practice-led PhD. So that's one of my survival strategies, and it's brought me to Perth, which has been a fantastic thing to do to get me to the other side of the country. Another thing, survival strategy of my own that's been helping me is taking my theatre into people's lounge rooms. This isn't something that I set out to do originally. I made a piece of work called Ruthless about my relationship, my rather fraught relationship with my grandmother Ruth. And I performed it in Brisbane in a little tiny upstairs bar in Fortitude Valley, Rick's Bar. And I played to about 20 or 30 people. And what happened was somebody who came and saw my show in that intimate venue fell in love with it and asked me to come and do it in their lounge room. Their lounge room actually seated about 70 people, so I played to twice the audience when I took it to their home. And then from that gig, I got invited to do 3 more lounge rooms, and from there it's just kind of snowballed. And so I've been performing in people's lounge rooms, I call it my lounge room gig, on both sides of the continent, and I've also been invited as far afield as lounge rooms and living rooms in UK and in Canada, which I'm hoping to take up those invitations later this year. So that's been like a survival strategy, not just economically, but also in terms of audience engagement, because what tends to happen is that after I perform, we share food and people ask me questions about how I came to make this story into a performance, and they share their stories with me. So it becomes, you know, educational and also an exchange that's more than about money. But the really great thing is that so often people come up to me and say afterwards, you know what, I haven't been to the theatre for years, but I'm going to go and buy a ticket and see something locally. And I think that's a really great outcome from taking my work into people's homes, and I'm really proud of the fact that it's had that unexpected benefit where people have actually been inspired to come back to the theatre or to come and see theatre for the first time. So those are a couple of my survival strategies. I also want to talk about the Magdalena Project, which is an international network of women in contemporary theatre. The Magdalena Project started about 20 odd years ago in Wales, in the UK. It was originally quite Eurocentric, but it's grown over the years to become a global network of women working in contemporary theatre. The aims and objectives of the project are to privilege the voice of women working in theatre, to give them an opportunity or to support them to make work that genuinely reflects their own experiences, and also, perhaps to articulate a female imaginary, to voice the concerns of women working in theatre, to challenge them to think about themselves as part of the future of theatre, and to question existing structures and their usefulness or otherwise. Some of the ways that it does that is through organising festivals, workshops, pedagogical activities, forums, documentation, publications. There's an annual publication which comes out every year collecting writings from women around the world, talking about how they make work, why they make work, and that's a really fantastic resource. And this year, it looks like here in Australia, we're going to be collating and producing and editing that publication. It's called The Open Page, so look out for that, because we'll be championing some Antipodean women theatre makers in that for sure. I encountered the Magdalena Project first 10 years ago, 1999, in Wellington, New Zealand. I went to a festival there. What tends to happen is that when someone is hungry to make something happen, the women in the network support them to do that by offering advice, information, etc. Not money. We still have to apply for funding. There's still the whole grant writing thing, finding partners, finding sponsorship, doing all of that. But there's a lot of knowledge out there that can be accessed through this network, and women in different countries do it in different ways. In 2003, after I'd been to the festival in 2009, we hosted a festival in Brisbane, the Magdalena Australia Festival 2003, and we had 250 artists participate from nearly every state and territory in Australia, and from around the world. We had women from 14 different countries come and participate in that. Out of that, there were a number of ripple effects. There were people who collaborated nationally and internationally. There were women who had conversations that are still going today. There were women who got published. A whole host of things happened, which was really exciting. And all of that leads to me talking about Magdalena Perth, which is an initiative that's come out of women theatre makers in Perth getting together, encountering the Magdalena Project and saying, hey, you know what, we're actually hungry to do something here. I mentioned earlier the tyranny of distance. One of the things that came out of women theatre makers in Perth getting together was a conversation around feeling a little bit weary and always feeling like they had to travel interstate or overseas for skills development. And so we hatched this plan to have a workshop festival here in Perth. Oh, I'm getting the bell. And so with the support of the Blue Room, who have come on board as a very significant partner, we're looking at early 2010 holding a workshop festival where we bring 5 women from interstate to run 5 workshops. Participants will be able to participate from 9 till 4 every day, so a really in-depth laboratory style engagement. And then there'll be a break, and then in the evening there'll be a public program of forums and performances. So it's going to focus on process. It's all about making theatre and developing skills to make theatre. And I think as one of the earlier bloggers, it might have been Nick Candy, was talking about bringing our own stories out. It's an opportunity for anyone who's interested in making theatre and bringing their own stories forward, or their community stories forward, or their nation stories forward, to do that and to continue to develop those skills. So we're very excited about it. We're going to be writing lots of grant applications. We're going to be looking for other partnerships and sponsors, and doing all of that work that has to go into it. If anyone's interested in getting involved, you can contact us by writing to us at magdalenaperth@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love more support. And I would like to finish by saying it's been great to be invited to be part of this forum, and to meet the other artists, the other 24 artists, through the blog. And blessings on your work. Jancis in the Blue Room, thank you very much. My name's Dawn. I'll see you later. Woo!